We wanted to take a look at how BC residents felt about specific construction projects. We've done some tracking poll on this back in June, and because the new government is in place, we wanted to see if the needle moved. And it was interesting to watch how there's still a lot of division when it comes to the Site C project, when it comes to Kinder Morgan, and also to be able to look at engineers as the one source of unbiased information when it comes to this type of situation. Construction, your views tend to be really varied, depending on where you live, depending on your age and your gender. But when you look at the effect that engineers have in making sure that people are well informed about some of these projects, then it definitely moves the needle. The main issue is don't rely on the politicians consistently to sell the message. We've seen how they are ranked very low. There's definitely a credibility problem, regardless of the party or the government that you represent. And for a while, most of these projects were being handled by deputy ministers, by big ground corporations, or by politicians who were really adamant on signing documents and cutting ribbons at specific places, especially when the election was near. And one of the problems that we see here is people tend to politicize that and maybe not pay attention to all the benefits that some of these projects might bring. When we ask people what they want to see, the first thing that comes to mind is environmental stewardship. And it's something that is always done in every construction project. It's not like we're in a place where no laws apply or no regulations are in place. But we haven't really spent a lot of time talking about some of these issues, and I think that's one of the major problems that we see in the survey. If you don't talk about environmental issues, somebody else is going to do it for you, and it's going to do it in a situation that is going to put you in a place where you don't want to be, and I think that's been one of the major problems. There's environmental stewardship in every construction project, but when you let activists be the ones who decide what is environmentally friendly or not, you're at a disadvantage. We've moved into a situation where people are looking for sources of information that fit what they feel and how they want to do things. It's almost like we're going back to the early stages of the 20th century when you bought your Republican paper or your Democrat paper. We're moving into that now with internet and all the digital media. So there's definitely a difficulty connecting there. Although it must be said that television news continues to be the number one source for everybody over 55, and also the first source for people between the ages of 35 and 54. So getting on television works, but you don't have to get on television with a politician. You need to get into television with somebody, maybe an engineer, who can talk about specific issues. We just conducted a survey on social media, and there's a staggering 35% of Canadians who say they encountered fake news. And that's a very big problem, because it's not the kind of situation that you had before when you had tighter controls over who was going to be talking about things. Now it's so easy to have a link, make it go viral, talk about specific things, fudge the data if you have to, and try to do something that is going to be helpful for your cause. And that's definitely one of the bigger challenges. Now, the way to change that is to actually be more transparent about things. And it's also something that we saw in the survey. If you're completely transparent about the way you're doing things, people are more likely to look at your project and say, well, this is something I can support. If you're being subjected to freedom of information requests and all you send back to the reporters are plotted out pages, then people are not going to regard you as somebody who's transparent, and they're going to be less likely to side with what you have to say.